Hi family, if you could see the excitement in my heart as I share from this book. I gotta kind of do a little job to get out some of this excitement, but this thing still cutting me off, so I'm going to see if my wonderful technical angel can run one video into the other one. So from this book, God Sent a Man, listen to what Carla B. Haynes says. He says, what it would have you to believe is that every man is sent from God. All persons born into the world are born with some purpose to fulfill. Do you believe that? I sure do. Many, many years ago, I may not have understood my purpose, but I tell you, I understand it now. Right, we all have a mission to accomplish because human life is not meaningless. So how did Joseph get through his time? The writer says, Joseph believed that to be true of himself. Do you believe that to be true of yourself? So all of us have a divine call. It is not only ministers, but we as lay persons, every person, God has called you into this world for a particular reason. So he says here, all persons may have this consciousness of God's divine call, a sense of mission, of destiny. There is a definite life plan, divinely shaped for every human being. Each of us is meant to do some exact thing. I believe that with all my heart. I believe that God orchestrated my life so that I could do those two publications. It is not about bringing glory to myself, not in the least bit. It is to show, as people read these publications, to show that God is wonderful. He does not have favorites. All of us are indeed his favorites. Right, so each of us is meant to do some exact thing. And check this now. The circumstances of our lives are designed, strategic plan, to prepare us for its accomplishment. The true significance and glory of our lives will be the doing of the thing God has marked out for us to do. It is more than just going to church. It is more than that. God has a specific task for each person. You cannot do what God has called me to do, and I cannot do what God has called you to do. He says, most men, however, never think of such a thing for themselves. These notes are designed to help us all to see that there's a plan, a strategic plan God has for us. Hopefully, the next note can run from this one. You take care. Have a good day. Am I excited? Oh, definitely. Art family, hi. There's more than one way to skin a technological cat, as it were. So I am rolling right on. So the writer makes the point that God has a specially designed plan for each person who has been born into the world. And he says, and should you be able to bring yourself to believe it, for it is the God of heaven who declares it to be true. He says that it will exalt God. You must believe that God has a plan for your life. If you do, it will exalt your life immeasurably. Just imagine that. So, this is the part that I really love now. So he says, as you take hold of this, the book shackling out, as you take hold of this truth and allow it to sink into our innermost, as we take hold of this truth and allow it to sink into our innermost consciousness, until it becomes the great conviction of our lives, we will come to realize, now check this now, we will come to realize that all that comes to us in the way of surrounding circumstances, this sounds like you heard already, right? Maybe you did. And experiences, they all have a bearing on God's plan. And these things are sent to us, or they are allowed to occur to mold and shape us to better accomplish what? The divine purpose. If only we could get to understand what is God's purpose for our lives. He goes on to say now, and this is where the trouble part and the hurt part comes in. Trials and disappointments, the injuries and the enemies and even friends inflict upon us, the hardships of life and its deprivations, the griefs and sorrows we must bear, the heartbreaks and losses we experience, all have their mission from God to prepare us to carry out his plan for our lives. Now, I am going to pause here because I'll put the rest of it in the next note. I don't want to make it of less importance than it is by rushing it down. I'm going to have to stop now. But I absolutely believe what is here. It makes a difference how we live our life, how we engage what happens to us in life. If we believe that God has a plan, we just can't sing about it and repeat texts. But these things must be believed deep in our hearts. So we picking up again at the next note. I seem to be winding up now than winding down. Anyhow, God bless you. See you next time, because I know you're coming back.